All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Theo Dillon. I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. I suffer from depression. I suffer from anxiety. And this is the One Day at a Time podcast. We're going to be discussing acceptance. We got a beautiful background today. Sun's out a little bit more than last time. So, pretty nice view for all you guys back here. But yeah, we're going to be talking about acceptance and kind of how to go about it and kind of my journey with acceptance. I think acceptance is one of the most pivotal things that kind of led to me being able to become who I am now. Um, the opposite of acceptance is denial, and denial led me down a dark path. It just you're constantly trying to run from something that's not going to go anywhere. It's going to keep following you around, and it was especially hard for me because in my earlier years, I was doing so well in school. I was doing so well in soccer. I was doing fantastic, and so I didn't really have any practice with battling things that I couldn't control and having to accept things that I didn't necessarily like because I kind of had everything going my way. So obviously, once I started my addiction, that was a hard hit to take because I started losing the things that kept me going, that fueled my self confidence. So you just saw a complete depletion of my self confidence. I felt like a nobody. I walked around with my head down, and I was constantly running from the fact that my decisions had caused me to lose everything that made me who I was. And in doing so, I had no identity anymore. So I kind of based my identity at that point around drugs and alcohol and being the most badass fucking kid that you knew. And in high school, it seems cool. Everybody kind of comes up to you and gives you that attention, like, "Oh, you're such a badass." Like I had that attention, but it meant nothing to me. I knew it wasn't who I was, and even though I put on this front on the outside that I was doing so well, I wasn't. And that was a really dark time in my life. And as things went on, it just got harder to accept. It got harder to accept that I turned down scholarships for soccer. I turned down an academy in England for soccer. Um, I turned down so many fucking opportunities. Kind of running from that and not confronting that head first, led me to feel guilty. It led me to feel shameful. And obviously, that only leads you to drink and use more. And it made my depression worse, made my anxiety worse. Like, I was a shell of myself. I was so anxious. I would have these fucking panic attacks all the time. There's about fucking 3 month period before my brother passed that I could barely leave the house other than to go to work. And even at work, I would have to like drug myself up on so many fucking anxiety meds just to get through the fucking day. Uh, I don't know how I really got out of that. It doesn't really make sense. Um, Once my brother passed, I kind of got shocked out of it. I guess that state of anxiety. But then I was in denial about my brother's death. It was something I didn't want to confront, and that led me to the worst of my addiction, the cocaine and the really heavy drinking. Because when I would do cocaine, I was drinking like a fucking 30 pack a night, and at the time I was weighing like 120 on a good day. So 30 pack and probably an 8 ball of cocaine and 120 pounds is not ideal. I had a lot of ER visits, a lot of hospital visits. Kind of all really did stem um, from that feeling I got that I wasn't myself anymore, and I really couldn't accept that. So going forward into kind of turning myself around to who I am now and being able to keep up with things, kind of staying on top of shit. Today's 118 days sober. Still not a whole lot, but it's more than I've ever had since I picked up. Uh, Acceptance was one of the biggest fucking things that hit me hard when I first got out here because it's like you run from your feelings for so long with the substances, with the drugs, with the alcohol, that you finally stop and you're not running anymore, and it just all catches up to you. So as soon as I got out here, my brother's death hit harder than fucking ever. I would say almost as hard as when it initially happened. Um, all the things that I had lost, all the consequences of my actions, all the things I had done to my family. And for a couple days there, I was really fucking down in the dumps. Like I could not fathom what I had become. I could not fathom what I had done to myself, what I had done to my life, and the people that I love. And if I had stayed in that state of mind, I would not be here 118 days talking to you guys now. The only way for me to move past that phase and into a growing stage of my life and into turning that shit around and fixing those things was to accept that that's done. It happened. And if you want to go even a level deeper, it I'm almost appreciative for those things now. I of course I wish I could fucking take those things back. I think about those things a lot. Um, but again, the biggest part of it for me is accepting that it happened, it's done, and I have to move on. And it's the same thing with my brother's death. I could sit here and I could be angry at the world. I could be angry at whatever powers rule the world and say, fuck you. You took the most important person from my life from me. And I'm just going to sit here in my little pity party, and that's how I'm going to live my life. But I chose not to do that, and that was the best decision I ever made. You know, realizing that life goes on with or without you is was the defining factor. And me sitting there and being upset, like I said last podcast, that's not what my fucking brother would want. That's not how I carry on his legacy. Doing things like this and trying to help you guys and anyone that I can possibly fucking reach with mental health and addiction, that's how I carry on his legacy. And acceptance allowed me to not only move on from my addiction and stop picking up. It definitely calmed my obsession of the mind down, the obsession of the mind that you have when you're addicted to a substance. But it also really neutralized my anxiety and depression because I realized it's okay. I realized I'm okay. You know, there are some things that have happened to me that are not okay, but I am okay today. I am okay. And I'm going to be okay as long as I keep moving forward. And obviously, you know, with acceptance, you have to start with the past. And that's why I'm talking so much about my past. As soon as you kind of conquer your past and you're able to not just hear what people say when they say, like, oh, you know, your past doesn't matter anymore. That's not something you can just kind of hear and it goes in one ear and out the other. It's kind of one of those things you have to feel and process and take in. Um, I heard that for a lot throughout my life. Like, oh, the past is your past. You have to let it go. And I heard it, but I never understood it. Never realized it until I sat there and actually fucking thought about it and realized, not just heard, that my past is gone. And if I keep letting my past rule today, then I've already lost. So again, once you've conquered your past, once you've come to terms with what's out of control, you kind of train yourself for the present. First thing is letting go of the past, and then you move on to the present. There are things that are going on in your life right now that you're upset about, and there's things going on in my life right now that I'm upset about. What I like to do is kind of divide them up into two categories these days: things I can control and things I can't control. And if it falls into the category that I can't control it, fuck it, it's gone. I don't deal with it. It's not something I can do anything about. There's no point in me trying to worry about it. There's no point in causing myself agita, anxiety, depression. There's no fucking point. All I'm doing is wasting my time that I could be focusing on the things that I can control. And the last 60 days or so of my sobriety, like, I've really buckled down on that. And it's made the biggest difference in my life. It's made the biggest turnaround. I'm able to kind of just focus on what I can get done. You know, I can focus on my soccer. I can focus on getting enrolled in school. I can focus on staying sober because that's something I can control. I can focus on how I treat other people. I can focus on showing up on time. I can focus on following through on things like this podcast. All those things are fucking huge for me. All those things have been giant and defining factors in not only why I'm sober today, but why I don't even want to pick up a drink. I still get the cravings every once in a while, but the cravings aren't enough to kind of overrule the things that I've been able to do since I've been sober and since I've really started taking a look inwards instead of being angry at the outwards world. Because once I stopped being angry at everything else that I can't control, and I just said, okay, let's just do what I can do. Let me play my part. That's all you can do, and honestly, it fucking makes the world seem so much better. It makes the world an easier place to live in. Because once you start looking at things and you say, "Hey, there's nothing I can do about that. Fuck it. There's nothing that can be done. There's no point in worrying about it." You know, right then and there, fucking half. If you can train your mind to get to that point, half of your fucking anxiety's gone. Even the anxiety obsession of the mind is just gonna go out the fucking window, and it's gonna be extremely extremely helpful to your case. And whether you're in addiction or whether you're struggling with anxiety or depression. Just as I've found that mental illness and addiction kind of go hand in hand, anxiety and depression kind of go hand in hand. Because if you're that anxious, there's no way you're not going to be depressed. If you're that anxious that you're constantly worrying about things that you can't control, that may or may not even fucking happen, there's no way you're going to have a happy life. You're going to be chronically upset. You're going to be chronically sad, and that's what we classify as depression. So if you have the anxiety and you kind of again neutralize that anxiety by training your mind to just let go of the fucking things that you can't control, it's going to lessen your depression as well. Acceptance is really one of those things that if you fucking hit the nail on the head with this, you're gonna see changes in all aspects of your life. It's not just gonna be one area or one corner of your life that's affected. You're gonna be changed for the better, and you're gonna be a completely different human being in the best way possible. You're gonna be able to go to people who in the past would have made you angry, and you're gonna say, "I forgive you. Let me help you, so you can see why what you did made me angry, and so we can find a way not to do it again. Let me help you. Let me be of service to you." I got that from my friend the other day, and when I was angry at someone, and it was the best fucking advice in the world. And it took a lot of acceptance to come to the point where, you know what? This is who that guy is. I can't control who that guy is. I gotta help him. I gotta help him in the best way possible to become a better person, and hopefully he can live a happier life, and hopefully I benefit from that too, since I know. Honestly, instead of stewing over something that was really dumb anyway, I was just able to let it go. And I was able to not create a situation. I was able to just be at peace. And I didn't have any trouble sleeping at night. I didn't have those fucking thoughts in the shower, like what I should have said in that argument. I didn't have any of that. I was able to let it go. And that gave me a lot of peace. It provided me a lot of serenity. I was still able to get a good night's sleep and fucking show up the next day for what I had to do. We'll circle back around the last podcast. Last podcast, I talked a little bit, like the last 8 minutes or so. If you guys didn't watch it, go watch it. It's all about gratitude, which is just as fucking important. And if you kind of master those two fucking things, gratitude and acceptance, damn, there's no one that can fucking bring you down, man. There is not one fucking person who can bring you down. They'll try. There's some people that'll see you floating on like this kind of pink cloud you're on. They'll try, but they can't fucking bring you down. Like, how can you be upset when you've accepted the things that you can't change? How can you be upset when you're working on everything that you can change and you're making progress every day? How can you be upset when you're grateful every day for the small things? It's three very, again, simple remedial fucking things that we all gloss over because it seems like, I don't know, it seems like something, I don't know, some fucking pink fairy would come down from a rainbow and tell you, followed by a unicorn and maybe some glitter. And it sounds cheesy and it sounds fucking stupid. But you gotta kind of let go of that nihilism at some point in your life. letting go of that like rebellious, fuck the world, fuck all of you, all of it means nothing attitude. This is the best thing that I ever did. I'm so glad I did it. Uh, I'll never forget that part of my life, and I'll never forget the perspectives that that part of my life gave me. But it didn't serve me. It didn't serve me as a person. It didn't serve my happiness, and it didn't serve me in being able to do what I want, which is help other people. I was not able to help myself, let alone anyone else. You know, if you do those three things consistently, the being appreciative, the accepting your past, and working on accepting your present, and working on what you can change right now, you know, you're good. You're making progress. Everything's going to be okay if you do those things. You can't just sit around and do nothing. I will say that. It's not like you're going to practice gratitude and stay inside 24/7 and play video games and make $1,000,000. You will find what you love to do so much easier once you know who you are. And you're not going to know who you are if you're just a fuck the world kind of guy, in my opinion at least, because you still have demons that you haven't confronted within yourself, and it kind of takes over your personality in your life. But once you're able to kind of confront that fuck the world attitude and the problems that are causing it for you, you're able to appreciate life and just kind of be yourself. You learn what you like to do. And I like me being out here, man, I learned that I like to help people. I want to help people. I always had these big dreams of being like, you know, some famous somebody that makes $1,000,000. But that to me now, like the person I am now, that would just lead to emptiness, like a sense of unfulfillment inside. Um, because to me, my sense of fulfillment is coming from helping you guys. Like the fucking first video, man, I put on TikTok, got like 2,000 views. You know, it's not a whole lot, but just some of the comments, you know, seeing people relate, seeing people say, "Yeah, I'm gonna be watching this. Like, I like what you're doing here. This is gonna be helpful." That's like that's what made me happy. That's genuinely made me happy. I had an old Instagram, or not old Instagram. I had an old TikTok where I used to post jokes about using drugs, and I used to get 50,000 views, and I wouldn't feel much fulfillment from it. But just seeing those couple comments where like the content that I'm putting out is doing something for somebody. Fuck, like I'm helping people, and I'm able to do that because of the steps that I took to get where I am now. The gratitude, the acceptance, the sobriety. And I'm so grateful to be helping you guys, because that's making this helps me as much as it helps you. Seeing those comments helped me as much as this is all helping you guys. I don't know, man. I genuinely never thought I'd be this happy. Fuck, things were so fucked up for so long. For so long. So bad. I got through it. And you can too, like fucking one day at a time. One day at a fucking time. It's a cheesy thing that we all hear in recovery and AA, but fucking one day at a time, guys. If you'll get there, you're gonna get there. If no one today has told you that you're gonna make it through this, whatever you're going through, if no one has told you that everything's gonna be okay, just know it is. No matter what you're going through, you can do it. I believe in you. I know you'll get there. Don't give up. Just keep trying. The world loves a trier. The world hates a quitter. If you quit, you're gonna get shit on. But the universe itself loves someone who doesn't fucking quit. Don't quit. And you'll fucking get there. Like, there's no way you won't. If you're watching this right now and you think you're not gonna get there, I hope someday to hear from you in my comments, I got there. I watched your first video and I wasn't there yet, but I eventually fucking got there. Whether the things I tell you or the things I share help you or not, I just want you to get there. I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. or stew in it for too long. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm gonna end on that note. That was a pretty happy note to end on. I'm gonna try to keep short content for the first couple episodes, so I don't overload you guys with like an hour's worth of shit. Eventually, once we move into guests, once we move into that kind of shit, or we kind of delve into deeper topics than just kind of the scratching the surface gratitude acceptance shit, I'll start going a little longer. The exercise for acceptance is going to be take a list of things that are bothering you right now, big and small. Break them up into two fucking categories. Can control, can't control. Can't control, every time it pops into your head and it bothers you from now on, I want you to work on not thinking about it and shoving it away from your mind. Instead of sitting there and thinking on it and getting into a thought loop, I want you to take it and I want you to push it to the fucking side. Let it be. Let it go. And only focus on the things that you can control. And every day, do a little bit for the things that you can control. That's your exercise. It's kind of like the gratitude one, like the gratitude list. Do that for 7 fucking days, and I think it's going to be a habit that you'll want to keep doing. It's something I do every day. Whether I write it down on paper or just in my head, it's something I do every day. So as far as the schedule goes, for posts and stuff like that, I'm gonna do like an inventory of my schedule this week, and figure out exactly what days I'm gonna post on. There'll be 2 or 3 set days a week, or I'll figure something out where it's every 2 or 3 days. I'll let you guys know when I figure that out for sure. But on my scheduled days, just know I'll be here, rain or shine, for my solo podcast. I will not be missing or canceling those. So I'll be showing up for you guys every single day. But as of right now, that is the One Day at a Time podcast. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.